January 26, 1945, 1400 hours, near the village of Holtzfer, in the frozen, shattered landscape of the Colmar Pocket, France. The temperature is far below freezing. The air smells of cordite, diesel, and wet earth. A lone American infantryman, Private First Class Audie Murphy, stands atop the shattered hull of a burning M10 tank destroyer. Flames lick the rear of the vehicle, casting flickering, grotesque shadows across the snow. Thick, black smoke billows into the gray sky. To his front, across 200 yards of open, snow-covered field, and through the skeletal remains of an orchard, elements of a full German infantry company, supported by at least 6 Panzer tanks, are advancing. Their Feldgrau uniforms are dark stains against the white. The metallic clank of tank tracks grinding through frozen mud mixes with the guttural shouts of German infantry commands. Murphy's entire company, B Company of the 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, has been reduced to a handful of effective fighters. They are outnumbered. They are outgunned. The order to retreat has been given, but retreat under direct enemy assault is a recipe for annihilation. Someone has to hold the line. Murphy makes his decision. He climbs. He is 19 years old. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall. He weighs maybe 130 pounds soaking wet. His face is smeared with grime and soot, too young for the weariness etched around his eyes. Just hours before, he was the commander of a platoon, a massive responsibility for a teenager. Now, most of his men are dead, wounded, or pinned down. The American defensive line is crumbling. German machine gun fire, the distinctive rapid brrrp of the MG-42, stitches the ground around his former position. Mortar rounds crump into the earth, throwing up geysers of dirt and snow. The lead German tank, a Panzer IV, its long 75mm gun searching for targets, lumbers forward, infantrymen crouching behind its bulk for cover. This is the crisis point. The tactical reality is brutally simple. If this German force overwhelms this position, they can punch through the American lines. They can roll up the flank of the 3rd Infantry Division. The entire painstaking effort to reduce the Colmar Pocket could falter. Every second of delay Murphy can impose is priceless. He reaches the top of the M10. The vehicle is named Chicago. Its crew is dead or wounded inside. The engine compartment is a roaring inferno. The heat is immense, searing. Ammunition inside could cook off at any moment. The tank destroyer is a death trap. Murphy ignores it. His focus is on the mounted .50 caliber Browning M2 heavy machine gun. The gun is cold to the touch. He checks the feed tray. A long belt of .50 caliber rounds is loaded. He grips the twin spade handles. He presses his thumbs down on the butterfly triggers. He swings the massive barrel toward the advancing gray lines. He opens fire. The sound is not a crack or a rattle. It is a deep, thunderous, rhythmic boom, boom, boom. Each shot is a declaration. Muzzle flash erupts from the barrel, a stabbing tongue of flame in the afternoon gloom. Empty brass casings, each the size of a fat cigar, clatter and ping as they eject, piling up on the burning deck. The tracers, 1 in every 5 rounds, streak out across the field like vengeful red lasers. They walk into the German infantry formation. Men dive for cover. The advance falters. Murphy works the gun with a methodical, terrifying precision. He fires short, controlled bursts. 3 rounds. 5 rounds. He traverses left, then right. He is not spraying bullets. He is aiming. He is cutting down the enemy's forward scouts, their machine gun teams trying to set up. The .50 caliber round is devastating against human targets. It does not just pierce, it obliterates. The psychological impact is immediate. No infantryman wants to advance into that kind of fire. The German attack, for a moment, stutters to a halt. But the panzers are still coming. The commander of the lead Panzer IV spots the threat. The tank's turret begins to rotate. The long 75mm gun starts to depress, seeking the range to the burning M10. Murphy sees it. He shifts his aim. The .50 caliber APIT armor-piercing incendiary tracer rounds are not designed to kill a medium tank frontally. but they can do damage. They can snipe. Murphy targets the tank's vision blocks, the commander's cupola, the tracks, the thinner side armor. The clang, clang, clang of heavy bullets striking steel plate rings out. Sparks fly. The German tank commander, exposed in his hatch, is forced to duck down. The tank's advance becomes hesitant, less coordinated. Murphy keeps firing. He is a solitary figure, silhouetted against smoke and flame, wrestling a weapon meant for a vehicle mount. The heat from the burning M10 is blistering. The smoke chokes him. His ears ring from the concussive blast of the .50 caliber, a sound felt in the bones as much as heard. He has been on the line for days. He is exhausted. He has already been wounded earlier in the campaign. None of it matters. The calculation is pure, tactical arithmetic. He must keep shooting. He must make the enemy believe this position is still heavily defended. He reaches for the field telephone wired to the M10. The line is still connected to the regimental command post, over a kilometer to the rear. He crushes the handset to his ear, shouting over the roar of battle and flames. "You can bring in the artillery now!" His voice is strained, raw. "Coordinates are..." He gives the map references for his own position, for the field in front of him. He is calling down a steel curtain on himself. It is the only way to break the attack. Minutes later, the sky changes its tune. A new sound arrives, a distant, mournful whistling that rapidly swells into a shriek. American 105mm and 155mm howitzer shells begin to fall. The first salvos land behind the German infantry, cutting off their retreat and reinforcement. Then the barrage walks forward. Massive explosions tear the frozen earth apart. Black pillars of dirt and snow and fire erupt across the orchard and the field. Shrapnel whines through the air. The German infantry, caught in the open, is shattered. The cohesion of their assault disintegrates into chaos and survival. The tanks, vulnerable to artillery concussive damage and wary of hidden anti-tank guns, begin to withdraw, backing away slowly, their supporting infantry gone. Murphy continues to fire the .50 caliber, hosing the areas where he sees movement, harassing the retreat. He does this for nearly an hour. 1 hour. Alone. On a burning vehicle. Under observed artillery fire. Only when he is certain the German attack has been thoroughly repulsed, when the immediate threat to his company's retreat and the battalion flank has passed, does he finally stop. The barrel of the .50 caliber is glowing dull red. He slides down from the hull. His legs are unsteady. He has been wounded in the leg by a German sniper's bullet during the engagement. He does not remember exactly when. The adrenaline is draining away, leaving only cold, pain, and utter depletion. He organizes the few remaining able-bodied men of his company and leads them back to the safety of the American secondary defensive line. He refuses medical evacuation. He will stay with his men. The Battle of Holzwihr is over. The German counterattack has failed. The line has held. The legend of Audie Murphy, however, has just been cemented in fire, steel, and impossible courage. This moment, this 60 minutes of sheer defiant will, would eventually be recognized with the United States' highest military award, the Medal of Honor. But to understand how a 19-year-old from Texas found himself in that frozen hell, making that stand, we must rewind the clock. We must go back to the beginning, to the dusty fields of Hunt County, Texas, long before the world knew war. The story does not begin on a burning tank in France. It begins in the relentless sun and red dirt of Hunt County, Texas. The year is 1924. The place is a sharecropper's farm near Kingston. Poverty is not a condition, it is the environment. The Great Depression hits, but for families like the Murphys, the line between survival and destitution was always thin. Audie Leon Murphy is born into this world, the 7th of 12 children. His father, Emmett, drifts in and out. His mother, Josie, works herself to the bone. Childhood is a luxury they cannot afford. Audie's education ends in the 5th grade. His textbooks are the fields. His lessons are in planting, picking, and hunting to put food on the table. At the age of 12, after his father abandons the family for good, Audie becomes the primary provider. He picks cotton for $1 a day. He hunts rabbits and squirrels with a single-shot .22 rifle. He learns marksmanship not as a sport, but as a necessity. He learns endurance through 12-hour days under the Texas sun. He learns responsibility by supporting his siblings. This harsh, unyielding forge shapes a core of steel within a small, wiry frame. By 1941, he is 17. The world is at war. Newsreels show marching armies and burning cities. Pearl Harbor is attacked. A national call to arms goes out. For millions of young American men, it is a patriotic duty. For Audie Murphy, it is something more concrete, a path out, a purpose, a steady paycheck to send home to his mother. He walks into a recruitment office. He is rejected. He is too young. He is too small. He looks even younger than his 17 years. He does not have the weight or the muscle mass the Army wants. This is the first obstacle. It will not be the last. He returns. He is rejected again. His persistence becomes a campaign in itself. He finally gets his mother to sign a notarized letter of consent, aging him up a year. In June 1942, after multiple attempts, the U.S. Army accepts Private Audie L. Murphy. He is assigned serial number 180-83707. The weapon that will become America's most decorated combat soldier is now in the hands of the military machine. The forging process intensifies. He is sent to Camp Walters in Texas for basic infantry training. The drill sergeants see a scrawny kid. They push him harder. Murphy pushes back, not with defiance, but with a silent, dogged determination. He masters the M1 Garand rifle, its weight and heft. He learns field sanitation, map reading, squad tactics. He excels at marksmanship, the .22 rifle of his childhood translating to a natural proficiency. But the Army has doubts. His slight build and youthful appearance mark him for non-combat roles. After basic, he is sent to learn how to be a cook, then a clerk. For Murphy, this is unacceptable. He did not join to peel potatoes or type reports. He wants to fight. He files transfer requests. He argues. He uses the same stubbornness that kept him hunting for his family. His persistence pays off. He is reassigned to the 3rd Infantry Division, a unit with a storied history and a fierce reputation. They call it the Rock of the Marne Division. They are training for combat deployment. This is what he wanted. The 3rd Infantry Division is a hardened instrument of war. Its commander, Major General Lucian Truscott, is a tough, innovative leader. The division's ethos is aggressive offense. Murphy is assigned to B Company, 1st Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment. He meets the men who will become his family, his responsibility, and, for many, his lasting grief. They are a cross-section of America: farm boys, city kids, laborers. They train in the deserts of California and the forests of the American South. They practice amphibious landings from Higgins boats. They run through obstacle courses under live machine gun fire. They learn the lethal ballet of fire and movement. Murphy absorbs it all. He is a keen observer. He listens to the veterans who have already seen combat in North Africa. He studies the weapons, the reliable M1 Garand with its distinctive ping when the en-bloc clip ejects, the Browning automatic rifle, BAR, a heavy beast of a weapon that provides a squad's base of fire, the mortar with its high-arcing, plunging fire. He learns to hate the sound of the German MG-42, a sound he has only heard in training simulations so far. He is promoted to Private First Class. He is still small. He is still quiet. But his squad leaders begin to notice something. He does not get flustered. He follows orders precisely. He is calm under simulated pressure. The steel forged in Texas is being tempered by military discipline. In early 1943, the orders come down. The 3rd Infantry Division is shipping out. Their destination, the Mediterranean Theater. Their first combat objective, the island of Sicily, Operation Husky. The training is over. The laboratory of war awaits. The farm boy from Hunt County is about to step onto a stage of violence that would test every ounce of resilience he possessed and reveal a capacity for leadership and lethal effectiveness that no one, perhaps not even Murphy himself, could have predicted. July 10, 1943, 02:45 hours, the Mediterranean Sea, off the coast of Sicily. The Higgins boat, a blunt-nosed landing craft, slams through the choppy waves. Inside, 40 men from B Company, 15th Infantry Regiment, are packed together like sardines. The air reeks of diesel fumes, salt water, and the sharp, coppery smell of fear. Each man is burdened with over 60 pounds of gear: rifle, ammunition, entrenching tool, helmet, pack. The boat's ramp is closed. In the darkness, the only sounds are the roar of the engine, the crash of waves against the hull, and the violent, gag-inducing retching of men overcome by seasickness. Audie Murphy crouches among them. This is it, Operation Husky. The invasion of Festung Europa begins here. A shell screams overhead, a German 88mm round fired from a coastal battery. It explodes in the water nearby with a colossal whump, sending a plume of white water skyward. The concussion shakes the boat. Cold seawater drenches the men. The ramp drops with a metallic clang. The world erupts into light and noise. German machine guns open up. Tracer rounds zip across the beach, drawing deadly red lines in the pre-dawn gloom. Go, go, go! The sergeant's voice is shredded by adrenaline. Murphy moves. He hits the water, waist deep, and pushes forward. The weight of his gear tries to drag him down. Bullets whip past, cutting the surface with a zip-crack sound. Men stumble and fall around him, some tripping, some hit. He doesn't look. He keeps his head down, his M1 Garand held high, and lunges for the cover of the sandy beach. His first combat action is not an act of aggression but of survival, a desperate scramble across 100 yards of open sand under interlocking fire. He makes it to a shallow dune, gasping for breath. The fear is a physical thing, a cold knot in his stomach. But the training takes over. He finds his squad leader. He starts returning fire at the flickering muzzle flashes in the hills above. The farm boy from Texas is now a combat infantryman. The transition is instantaneous and absolute. The Sicilian campaign is a brutal introduction. The 3rd Infantry Division drives north and west, facing the hardened veterans of the German 15th Panzer Grenadier Division and Italian coastal troops. The terrain is a defender's dream: rocky hills, narrow passes, ancient stone-walled villages that become natural fortresses. The heat is oppressive, dust chokes every breath, and dysentery ravages the ranks. Murphy learns his first lethal lessons. He learns the value of cover and concealment. He learns the distinctive sound of incoming mortar rounds, a soft thump from the enemy tube, then the whistle, then the earth-shaking blast. He learns to identify the slower, deeper crump of German artillery versus the sharper report of American shells. He sees the effects of weapons firsthand, what a 7.92mm rifle round does to a body, what a grenade's fragmentation can achieve in a confined space. He also learns to kill. It is not dramatic. It is often distant, a fleeting figure in a window, a silhouette on a ridge. He becomes proficient with his M1, its semi-automatic fire giving him a rapidity advantage over the bolt-action German Kar 98K rifles. His childhood hunting skills translate into a cool, precise marksmanship under fire. He is promoted to private first class, then to corporal. Leadership is thrust upon him as casualties mount. He does not seek it, but he does not shy away from it. His quiet demeanor and obvious competence earn the respect of his peers. He leads by example, not by shouting. The campaign grinds on. The fight for the town of Troina in early August is particularly vicious. Street by street, house by house fighting. Murphy's squad is pinned down by a German machine gun nest in a stone farmhouse. The MG-42's fire, a sound like ripping canvas, pins them behind a low wall. Every attempt to move draws a hail of bullets. Murphy assesses the situation. He motions for his BAR man to lay down suppressing fire. The BAR opens up with its slower, heavier Buddha Buddha Buddha. Taking advantage of the distraction, Murphy low crawls through a drainage ditch, flanking the position. He closes to within 30 yards. He pulls the pin on a fragmentation grenade, counts to 2, and lobs it through a ground floor window. The explosion is muffled, followed by silence. The machine gun stops. He signals his squad to advance. It is a small tactical action, one of thousands happening across the front. But it demonstrates a pattern: calm assessment, use of supporting fire, personal initiative, and ruthless execution. These are the building blocks of a combat leader. Sicily is secured by mid-August. For his actions, Murphy receives his first combat decoration, the Bronze Star Medal for Valor. More importantly, he earns a reputation. The quiet, undersized kid from Texas can fight. The next stop is mainland Italy. The landing at Salerno in September is another bloody affair, but the 3rd Division's role is to push north towards the vaunted German winter line. The fighting enters a new level of misery. The autumn rains turn roads into quagmires. The mountains of central Italy are cold, fog-shrouded, and perfect for ambush. Then comes Anzio. January 22, 1944. Operation Shingle. The Allies attempt an end run, landing at the port of Anzio, just 35 miles south of Rome. The goal is to outflank the German Gustav Line. Initially, it is a masterpiece of surprise. The landing is virtually unopposed, but then, caution sets in at the high command. The beachhead is consolidated instead of rapidly expanded. It is a fatal hesitation. German Field Marshal Albert Kesselring reacts with stunning speed. He rushes 8 divisions to seal off the perimeter. Within days, the Allies are trapped in a shallow, muddy salient, bombarded day and night by German artillery. The Anzio beachhead becomes a hellscape, a flat, waterlogged plain dominated by German observers in the surrounding Alban Hills. For 4 months, the men of the 3rd Infantry Division endure this. Life is lived in water-filled foxholes. Sleep is measured in minutes, interrupted by sudden barrages or probing attacks. Anzio Annie, a massive German 280mm railroad gun, lobs shells the size of small cars into the crowded port area. The psychological strain is immense. Murphy, now a sergeant leading a squad, survives through a combination of tactical skill and what his men later describe as a preternatural luck. He seems to have an instinct for where the next shell will land. He enforces discipline, keeping weapons clean in the mud, rotating watch, maintaining fields of fire. In one instance, during a German night infiltration attempt, he uses a captured German Schmeisser MP-40 submachine gun to repel the attack at close quarters, its distinctive rapid pop-pop-pop cutting through the darkness. Anzio is a defensive, grinding battle of attrition. It forges a different kind of toughness, the toughness to endure, to hold on, to exist in a state of constant threat. The breakout finally comes in May 1944 as part of Operation Diadem. The 3rd Division assaults the Caesar Line. The fighting is close and brutal. In one engagement, Murphy single-handedly destroys a German machine gun position that had halted his platoon's advance, again, using grenades and his M1 with lethal efficiency. For this, he is awarded a battlefield commission to 2nd lieutenant. The scrawny recruit who was almost made a cook is now an officer. The responsibility weighs heavily. He feels every casualty in his platoon as a personal failure. The drive to Rome is swift after the breakout, but the campaign in Italy is not over. The division is pulled out for a new mission. In August 1944, they participate in Operation Dragoon, the Allied invasion of southern France. It is a near-textbook amphibious assault, far smoother than Sicily or Salerno. The French resistance aids their advance. The 3rd Division drives north up the Rhone River Valley at a blistering pace, covering hundreds of miles, liberating town after town. For a brief period, it is almost a pursuit, a war of movement. Murphy's leadership is tested in rapid advances and meeting engagements. He is wounded by a mortar fragment during this advance, his first Purple Heart. He refuses evacuation. The momentum is too great. The enemy is on the run. By September, the 3rd Infantry Division links up with Patton's 3rd Army, advancing from Normandy. The campaign in southern France is a spectacular success. But the war is not won. The division is transferred to the Vosges Mountains in eastern France, near the German border. The weather turns cold. The advance slows. The Germans, fighting on the threshold of their homeland, dig in with fanatical determination. By the winter of 1944-45, the 3rd Division finds itself in the grim, frozen trenches of the Colmar Pocket, a stubborn, German-held salient on the west bank of the Rhine. It is here, in the bitter cold of Alsace, that the weapon forged in Texas, tempered in Sicily,
and hardened at Anzio, will face its ultimate test. The stage is set for Holtzwihr. December 1944. The Allied advance across Western Europe has stalled. In the north, the surprise German offensive in the Ardennes, the Battle of the Bulge, has absorbed all strategic reserves and attention. Further south, along the Upper Rhine, a dangerous anomaly remains: the Colmar Pocket. This is a sizable German bridgehead on the west bank of the Rhine, approximately 40 miles long and 20 miles deep, centered on the city of Colmar in the Alsace region of France. For Adolf Hitler, it is a matter of prestige and strategy. He orders it held at all costs. It is a dagger pointed at the flank of the Allied advance. It threatens the vital logistics hub of Strasbourg. It houses the German 19th Army, a battered but determined force, now reinforced and ordered to fight to the last. The terrain is a defender's paradise, a flat, open plain crisscrossed by irrigation ditches and canals, dotted with small, sturdy villages built of stone and brick. In winter, it becomes a frozen swamp. The weather is a weapon for the defenders. Temperatures plummet. Snow falls, then thaws into freezing mud. Visibility is poor. The ground is too soft for tanks, yet too frozen for easy digging. For the American and French forces tasked with reducing the pocket, it is a nightmare. The U.S. 3rd Infantry Division, under Major General John Iron Mike O'Daniel, is thrown into this meat grinder in late December. They relieve exhausted French units. The division is veteran, but weary from the drive up from the Mediterranean. They now face a battle of attrition in the worst possible conditions. The German defense is multifaceted and skilled. They have pre-registered artillery and mortar fire on every road, path, and likely assembly area. Their positions are cleverly camouflaged in villages, woods, and farm complexes. They use the extensive network of canals as ready-made anti-tank ditches. Their weapons are effective: the MG-42 machine gun, the Panzerfaust anti-tank rocket, the deadly accurate 80mm and 120mm mortars, and the ever-present fear of the 88mm flak gun used in a direct-fire anti-tank role. Their infantry are experts at creating interlocking fields of fire. Attacks by the 3rd Division gain yards at horrific cost. A typical engagement: American infantry, supported by a few Sherman tanks or M10 tank destroyers, advance across a snowfield.
German observers spot them immediately. Mortar rounds begin to fall, precisely adjusted. Machine gun fire pins the lead platoon. A hidden anti-tank gun or a Panzerfaust team knocks out the supporting armor. The attack falters. The men go to ground in the frozen mud. Casualty evacuation is a perilous ordeal under constant sniper fire. This is the daily reality for Audie Murphy and the men of B Company, 15th Infantry Regiment. By mid-January 1945, Lieutenant Audie Murphy is a seasoned platoon leader in B Company. He is 19 years old, commanding men older than himself. He has been wounded twice. He has been awarded the Bronze Star, 2 Silver Stars, the Legion of Merit, and 3 Purple Hearts. His reputation within the regiment is that of a cool, aggressive, and exceptionally lucky officer. He leads from the front. He shares the same miserable conditions as his men: frozen feet, lice, cold sea rations, and the constant grinding anxiety of the front line. The division's objective is to clear the area north of the Colmar Canal, a key step in compressing the pocket. The specific task for the 15th Infantry Regiment is to secure a line of villages: Riedwihr, Holtzwihr, and Wickerschwihr. These names mean nothing on a map, but to the men who must take them, they represent strong points of death. On January 24th, the attack on Riedwihr turns into a disaster. B Company is part of the assault. German resistance is ferocious. Tanks from the attached 753 Tank Battalion and M10s from the 601 Tank Destroyer Battalion bog down in the soft ground and are picked off by well-concealed anti-tank guns. The infantry is cut to pieces. Murphy's platoon is decimated. In the aftermath, B Company's combat strength is reduced to about 40% of its nominal allocation. Morale is at a breaking point. The weather remains bitterly cold. Replacements, fresh-faced and terrified, arrive to fill the gaps in the line. They are called 90-day wonders, and they die quickly. On January 25th, Murphy is given a battlefield promotion to first lieutenant and placed in command of the shattered B Company.
He is now responsible for the remnants of nearly 200 men, now numbering less than 80 effectives. He is 19. The pressure is immense. The orders for January 26th are clear, and they are brutal. The 15th Infantry must try again. The objective? The village of Holzwihr. Intelligence suggests the Germans are preparing a major counterattack to restore their lines. B Company's role is to lead the assault across a wide, open field south of the town, secure a wood line near the Maison Rouge farm, and establish a defensive position. It is a textbook attack into a suspected counterattack. The men know the odds. The field is a perfect killing zone. At 1400 hours on January 25th, preparatory artillery fires begin. American shells pound suspected German positions in Holzwihr and the surrounding woods. At H hour, B Company moves out from their jump-off point near the Riedwehr forest. Almost immediately, Murphy's fears are realized. The German response is not defensive. It is a violent, pre-planned counteroffensive. It is not a company-sized probe. It is a coordinated assault by a full battalion of the German 2nd Mountain Division, supported by at least 6 Panzer IV and Panther tanks of the German 106th Panzer Brigade. What happens next is a rapid collapse of the American plan. B Company is caught in the open. Heavy machine gun and sniper fire forces them to ground. Then the tanks appear, emerging from the tree line near Holzwihr, infantry and Feldgrau advancing beside them. The American supporting armor, a platoon of M10 tank destroyers, is engaged immediately. The M10s, with their open-topped turrets and relatively thin armor, are outgunned by the German panzers. Several are hit and set ablaze. One of them is Chicago. The commander of B Company's supporting tank destroyer platoon is killed. The American line begins to disintegrate. Orders are shouted. The company is being flanked. To stay is to be surrounded and annihilated. The command goes out. Retreat to the woods! Reorganize! It is the only sensible tactical decision. But a retreat under direct pressure from tanks and infantry is the most dangerous maneuver in combat. It can turn into a rout, a massacre. Someone has to provide covering fire. Someone has to slow the German juggernaut down, to force the enemy infantry to deploy, to give the retreating men precious minutes to reach the tree line and form a new defensive line. Lieutenant Murphy sees the burning M10. He sees the 50 caliber machine gun on its rear deck, unused. He sees the German infantry advancing, their lines still orderly. He makes a calculation. The artillery support he prearranged is minutes away. He needs to hold the German attention on this spot to make them think the position is still actively defended, to draw their fire onto a single, conspicuous target, himself. He orders his men to fall back. He does not order them to follow him. He turns and runs, not away from the enemy, but towards the burning tank destroyer. This decision, born of tactical necessity and a profound sense of responsibility for his company, sets the stage for the singular act of defiance that would define his life. The farm boy, the rejected recruit, the weary lieutenant, now climbs onto a funeral pyre of steel to fight a one-man war. The immediate aftermath of the hour on the burning M10 was a blur of exhaustion and shock. Audie Murphy, his leg bleeding from a sniper's bullet, his face blackened by smoke, his ears ringing, limped back to the comparative safety of the American secondary line in the Riedwehr forest. He refused immediate medical evacuation. He was still the company commander. His men, those who had made it back, were shaken, disorganized. Murphy set about reorganizing the shattered B Company, integrating replacements, re-establishing fields of fire, reporting the situation to battalion. The German attack had been blunted. The line had held. But the cost was etched on the faces of the survivors and in the empty spaces where friends had stood. The Battle of Holzwihr was a tactical stalemate with a profound psychological victory. The German 2nd Mountain Division's attempt to shatter the 15th Infantry Regiment's advance had been stopped cold by the desperate, astonishing stand of one junior officer. The momentum of their counterattack was broken. Over the next 2 days, supported by massive artillery and renewed attacks by other units of the 3rd Division, Holzwihr was finally captured. The Colmar pocket continued to collapse. By February 9, 1945, the Colmar pocket was erased. The German 19th Army was destroyed, with over 22,000 prisoners taken
and thousands more killed or wounded. The Allied southern flank was secure. The road to the Rhine was open. For his actions on January 26, 1945, Lieutenant Audie Murphy was recommended for the nation's highest award. The citation for the Medal of Honor, approved by President Harry S. Truman and presented on June 2, 1945, reads like a tactical after-action report stripped of all hyperbole. It details the sequence, the order to retreat, the enemy force of 6 tanks and waves of infantry, his mounting of the burning tank destroyer, which was in danger of blowing up at any moment, his use of the .50 caliber machine gun and the field telephone to direct artillery. It concludes, Lieutenant Murphy's indomitable courage and his refusal to give an inch of ground saved his company from possible encirclement and destruction, and enabled it to hold the woods which had been the enemy's objective. The language is dry, factual. The reality it describes is anything but. The Medal of Honor was the pinnacle, but it was only one star in a constellation of valor. By the end of the war in Europe in May 1945, Murphy had become the most decorated American combat soldier of World War II. His official tally is staggering. The Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, twice, the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star Medal, twice, once with V device for valor, the Purple Heart, 3 times, the French Croix de Guerre with Silver Star, the Belgian Croix de Guerre with Palm, and numerous campaign and service medals. Each decoration represents a moment of extreme danger, a decision made under fire, a life risked for the mission and the men beside him. The skinny kid from Texas had, through a combination of sheer courage, tactical acumen, and an uncanny survival instinct, risen to the status of a national legend. The war ended. Captain Audie Murphy, he received a final promotion shortly before discharge, returned home in the summer of 1945. He was 20 years old. Parades welcomed him. Magazine covers featured his handsome, serious face. Hollywood came calling. Actor James Cagney invited him to Los Angeles, seeing potential. For a nation eager for heroes, Murphy was the perfect template. Humble, soft-spoken, devastatingly effective, proof of the citizen soldier ideal. He struggled initially with the transition.